Today's video, I am going to see if players are excited about the sailing update, and I'm going to take them for a trip around on these boats, and we're going to pretend that this is a simulation of what sailing will be like. And of course, I don't really know anything about what sailing is going to be like, so this will be complete nonsense, but they're going to have such a fun time. Because players, one thing they love is imagining stuff. And if I can be the chief visionary officer of their imagination and take them on this wild journey, exploring around on the boats and just making stuff up off the top of my head, well, they're going to have a fun time, and hopefully it's going to make them vote for sailing, because I really would like to see sailing come into the game. I don't want to just have to imagine, because I've been imagining for too long. I'm gonna tell you something quite personal now, and that is I have wanted sailing to be part of this game ever since I was a child. I fantasized about getting on these ships at Port Sarim and sailing around on the seven seas. I'd even go up to players and convince them that I owned one of these boats. And they would come and stand on my boat. And I'd say, I can't sail yet because we're waiting for, the sails to be repaired or something. And some of them probably believed me. And I'm going to see if I can match what I managed to achieve in my childhood and convince players to come along to the Port Sarim docks, get on a boat, and imagine that we're partaking in sailing. Yesterday I went to Queensland's biggest event, which is called the Ekka. And the Ekka is this fair where everyone from all the rural towns descends upon the city for a week, and they just want to consume and consume and consume, and they mostly consume meat because that's almost exclusively what they sell as food at the Ekka. So if you're vegetarian, they do have a vegetarian option, but it's just potato. And anyway, so everyone comes from far and wide to Brisbane for the Ekka, and initially the Ekka was this way of rural folks to be able to come to a central location and have their prize-winning livestock judged. So you'd have people from 4 or 5 hours away come in with their prize-winning cow, and there'd be so many people standing around in amazement at this just amazing cow that no one has ever seen anything as good as this cow before. And everyone just would stand around and go, fuck yeah, man. That cow is just next level good. Or, wow, man, yeah, that duck is just next level good. And whatever else, whatever other farm animals the Ekka has, like sheep, chickens, what have you. But over the years, people sort of got less interested in the prize-winning heifers and more interested in the rides, because they started having rides at the Ekka, and then different people started coming to the Ekka, and it wasn't just rural people, but now it's a mixture of both. So you get the rural people coming for the meat and to look at the meat before it was made into the, deep fried whatever the fuck they're eating. And they also love to come and have a look at the chickens in these tiny little cages where they can just sit down in and pace from side to side for about a week. And then the people can come and, while I was there at least, I saw lots of people from out of Brisbane, and they come and they'd laugh at these chickens in the cage. Oh, they had such a good time. They thought it was so funny seeing these little chickens trapped in these cages. Oh, what a great time it was for those people. Personally, I find it quite distressing, but that's just me. I'm not from the country, so what would I know about livestock? But anyway, so people come in, and then there's this thing called show bags. And initially they were free. They were like a sample bag that different businesses would, give out, like their crisps or sweets or whatever. But now you have to pay for them, and they actually cost more than if you went to the shop to buy the same item. But that's the big thing about the Ekka. It's the show bags, the prize-winning cows, the prize-winning chickens, the prize-winning sheep, the horses. There's some horses that trot around. And then there's also the rides, which everyone loves the rides. I don't. I won't get into that, but I basically just had a look at the artworks and everything else, and some of the artworks were okay. I liked a few of those. And then they had this huge setup of so many gamers. I'll see if I can get some footage of the gamers. There was just like rows of these people watching these elite gamers from all around Queensland descending upon the Ekka to show off their gaming skills. And this is new. I haven't seen this at the Ekka before. But just the elite gamers. And they were playing some, I don't know what game. Some like ultimate gamer game where they're all coming in and doing their super gaming and winning prizes for how good of a gamer they were. And people were cheering, and I was just watching in, sort of bewilderment at what the hell was going on in front of me. But anyway, that was part of the Ekka experience, And let's get to today's video. So today, I am going to see if I can convince some players that I own a ship, and if they are going to come onto the ship and experience what sailing is going to be like. I have a feeling this is going to be much more difficult than I anticipate, but let's give it a try and see what happens. Oh, come on, man. It was going so well. I said, psst, and he's like, yo. And I said, do you like boats? And he goes, yes. And I said, do you want to experience a sailing simulator? And he said, sure. And then I said, follow me. And he fucked right off. Literally disappeared into thin air, rather than coming on an amazing experience with me. After trying so many groups of players and having no luck, I went to the one group of players I can always rely on for some content. And that is the forestry community. And of course I said, does anyone want to experience sailing? One person immediately says no, a second says no, one says yes, one just says sailing. And someone said, with that amazing water texture, yeah, sure. Go play Sea of Thieves if you want sailing. Some people getting very angry at the mention of sailing. Reported for sailing. And I said, if you follow me, I can show you my ship. Now, most of the players sort of are busy doing their own thing, but a few of them were getting interested. One of them said, I ain't never getting on no fucking boat. Learned from my ancestors. Wow, thank you, Wet Beef. And then someone said, I like dirty ships. And I said, my ship is dirty, but it functions, I can assure you. And they said, looks like I ain't sailing. Lol, I guess I didn't like my dirty ship. And I thought maybe if I say there's treasure, might get them to come. And Wet Beef said, can I stay in your quarters with you, Dirty Harold? And I said, you may. And that made them say, I'm in. Which was a good sign. I thought, maybe I have my first crew. And this person in the bank said, I'll sink it and it will be forever lost. And I said, now that's not a very nice thing to say. And I said, now that's not very nice, sinking my boat. And they said, no, the treasure. And I said, oh, no, the treasure is safe. And they said, no, it's gone now. And I said, you don't even know which ship is mine. Because, frankly, I don't even know which ship is mine. And I've been standing around for quite a while, trying to get some people to join my crew. And I thought the treasure, that might have got them a bit interested. And so I said, I have a unique opportunity for someone who has dreamed of a life on the sea. And surely one of these people thinks, I have always wanted a life on the sea. And we have trusty wet beef. Let's get the fuck out of here. And I said, okay, we will. And this made another horny forester come along, thinking there's going to be some R-rated content happening on this boat. My crew is expanding. It was at this point I realized I had no idea what I was going to say or do next. So I was going to have to take all of my improvising skill to keep these people entertained. At least until I got to the ship. What interests you in ships, I asked. And Wet Beef said that topless wenches. That is a noble answer, Wet Beef. We've got Spliff Kid and Wet Beef. The makings of a truly spectacular crew. And they've been hitting on me this whole time. How'd you get into them jeans? And I said, with great difficulty and butter. And they said, laughing my fucking ass off. Hot. Thank you. Now we get to the ship. And there's something I didn't realise about this ship at first. And I said, now it's not much. And Spliff Kid said, this is getting weird. But it's still a ship. Come aboard. And of course you can't, because I didn't realise that you can't get on that boat. So I said, shit. As if I've been found out. But thankfully you can get onto this ship. And now, as we were on the boat, I had no idea what I was going to say next. Here it is, I proclaimed. Are we stealing this ship, says Wet Beef. And I said, we're occupying the vessel. Neither of them know what's going to happen. I also don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to try and come up with something to say so I can keep this going for as long as possible. Now this is what our lives will be. From now on, part of the crew, part of the ship. And they said, no, I don't see the wenches you promised. Fuck. The reef is growing out of my back. Because he's becoming part of the ship. As you can see, he's part of the crew, part of the ship. And this is the point where they both fucked off when I said there's no leaving the vessel. And I said, shit. And of course I was very disappointed because it took way longer than I was thinking it would. It took me like 45 minutes to find those two people willing to follow me onto this boat. And I totally messed it up by having no idea what to do or say when we actually got here. So that was this experience, and maybe another day I'll try again. But for now I'm going to give up with the idea of trying to get my own crew. Because the players, they just weren't feeling it today, you know? And they ran off at just about as quickly as they got here. I'll have to come up with some new idea because, this just didn't work. I wasn't on my game today. I just wasn't charming enough to charm the people to stick around. I question my improv skills at this point. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I am nothing without my crew. A very sad time for a captain. I must go down with the ship. Farewell.